Internet land, did you know that I traded 2 solid kilograms of gold for this? And I'm going to tell you why. Because this is the new Garmin Echomap CHIRP 75dV. Did I make the right decision? Let's find out. I'm Moose, and we're going to have a quick look at this unit. Come with me. This is Garmin's new Echomap CHIRP series in their 7-inch. It features the new GT22 high-frequency CHIRP transducer, 250 watt, with down imaging or with side imaging, depending which model you get. It sort of now bridges the gap a little bit between the old CHIRP series, the old Echomap series, and the GPS map series with a few more multifunctional elements. So let's have a look what we get inside the box. And here we go, busting it open. Usual credentials in the front. And there it is. There's the unit. Oh, they were taking out the plastic. So you get rid of the cover. And the first thing we notice is that it's a little bit darker than the old Echomap series. It's a more sleek, modern black. Oh, wait a minute. Look at this. New connectors on the back. I'm not too sure about those pins. Got a bad habit with pins, but we'll get there in the end. So underneath, there's the usual accoutrements of bits and bobs. So we'll take out this little box here. And underneath, we have a new power cable. This is interesting. It's got the same 4-plug connectors as you may have seen in the GCV boxes. Some nice little waterproofing there. And, of course, the bracket, which everything kind of mounts into. So we'll use a bit of magic here. Here's the back of it. New power connectors and old-fashioned connectors we may have seen in the GPS map series, new to the Echomaps. As well as this new little connector on the front. I'm really interested about this. This is interesting. I'm wondering how that's going to go when you want to flush mount the system. But that's okay. We'll get there. Interesting. But anyway, the bracket's still pretty good. It's quick release. And it's pretty sturdily well made. We'll put that aside for now. Here's the new GT22 transducer, which looks like this outside of its packaging. Put that aside for a second. And of course, you get your standard old paperwork and your very, very, very thin manual. I mean, that's super thin. So once you start it up, here's your home screen. Charts, sonar, frequently used, new one, Panoptix, new one, autopilot, combinations, gauges, user data, navigation info, and overboard. Panoptix, frequently used, and gauges are the new ones. So let's check out sonar. We got our traditional down view, side view. Now we wouldn't have side view if it was just a DV model, but for a simulator, you can see we're running in CHIRP mode. Things are already appearing a bit more crisp, which is nice. We also have underneath our sonar, we have down view, which is much the same as what it was before, 455 kilohertz. Under charts, we have our standard navigation blue chart, Australia, New Zealand built in for our Australian viewers. Different if you live overseas. Perspective 3D, the helicopter Miami drug shot. And fishing charts, removes navigational details, increases the contours, as well as our corner boxes, we can adjust those. So back to the home screen, down to frequently used. This is pretty cool. Obviously, it picks up what you use the most. Autopilot, this is new. Via NEMA 2000, you can control your autopilot. So it becomes a bit more of an option for people with bigger boats. Of course, with NEMA 2000, you get all kinds of engine diagnostics. So this 4-engine boat apparently is running a basic Echomap unit. So we'll just go into gauge setup and go to engine selection, and we'll change it from 4 down to 1 engine. That's a bit more normal. So now when we go back, you can see the gauges have changed a little bit to be a bit more realistic. So now we've got the 1 engine, which is more in tone of the people who would be buying this system. Back to the home screen, under Panoptix, we get a whole new range of transducer options that were only available in the GPS map series before. So here's our Panoptix historical. We'll just change the gain there for a second. Bring the gain down a little bit so those fish don't look too cluttered. But this is interesting. This is a new direction from Garmin. This is something that they've tried to keep relatively exclusive to the upper end of their ranges, but now being brought down into the more affordable. And is this a sign that Garmin's going to have more affordable transducers? Because at this point, the Panoptix system is still pretty expensive. Of course, there's your forward-looking sonar as well. You can see what it looks like on the 3D versus the 2D. So we'll follow that story. Down to Navigational Info, you can see all kinds of inland services and tides and currents. This is interesting. Under tides, we can track the tides. But what's nice about it is it's very clear, very, very crisp. It's not difficult to misinterpret. We also get our currents. It'll pick up our local location, I should say, but we can also reselect it. Here's our celestial information, so the position of the sun and the moon, and the phase of the moon. That's pretty cool too. Back to the home screen now. We're going to go to frequently, so we're going to go to charts, into the navigation chart. And this is new for the Echomap CHIRP series and will be available in the updates, but the quick draw system. So the quick draw system updates the map on the fly. So you can see as I zoom in, as I'm cruising over the bottom, it's putting new contours out and it's showing me what the new section is in green, so I know where I've been over. Now I can change that, but look at that. So as I'm driving along, it's updating. So if I go down to setup here and go down to, if I'm doing manager, go to settings now and I go to recording offset, I can change it for different depths. That's handy. So if I had a keeled yacht, for example, I might want to change those depths. If I go down to survey coloring, I turn it off now. So now when I go back to the map, that green section disappears and it just looks like I've been creating a new map. So everywhere I go, I'm just updating it. So this is really handy for your inland waterways or areas that aren't mapped terribly well. Now that's quite interesting. I really like that. We've got a little speaker and a light sensor. Case is pretty sturdily constructed. Once it's clicked in, it's solid. Now I do like this though. This little area here for hiding your cable. So mount your cables underneath the bracket for a really tidy finish. I think it's pretty good. Thumbs up. So my thoughts on the unit. Well, it's a pretty solid built unit. Garmin makes pretty solid units. They've definitely crammed in more than the previous Echomap series, and that's a good and a bad thing. I think it's getting very close to the GPS map series without touchscreen. I suppose it's replacing the old 1020 and 820 XS units in that regard. I'm a little bit worried about those pins. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Big thanks to Regal Marine for obviously supplying the units and letting me do the filming. Big thanks to all of my sort of followers on Marine Electronics with Moose. Please subscribe on Facebook. And a big thanks obviously to Garmin, for without them producing this system, I wouldn't have anything to do with my life. Thanks guys. Keep watching.